So my mom passed away 2 days ago. Every time I say that, so most of you know she developed ALS after getting the injections, and I was trying to help her heal just with my wacky diet advice, and you can heal this. First we tried like just grapes, because Dr. Morris was like, I've never had a ALS patient that I haven't been able to heal, and it's grapes all the way. So like we had her on that for like a couple weeks, and she was losing so much weight. I was like, oh my god, we got to switch it up a notch. And she tried, and I tried to help her, and she didn't die from ALS. The crazy thing is, she had this BiPAP machine because her breathing, she had COPD, so she smoked for 50 years. Her lungs were just terrible, and ALS on top of that weakens the strength of your lungs. So just imagine the damage and how hard it must have been to breathe for her. She had a BiPAP machine that she just wore a little bit to sleep, which like forces air into your lungs so you don't have to breathe. And in my opinion, that's going to weaken your lungs over time, and that's exactly what it did. Eventually she became dependent on it. Like maybe a month ago, she would be able to talk whenever I visit her. She'd have conversations, but like towards the end she was keeping the mask on and taking it off and saying a couple things, then putting it back on. Like she really needed that. And 2 days ago, about 4 a.m., the machine just stopped working. So I just picture the panic. The machine's not working, she's trying to get it to work, and it's not happening. So she lives with Lee. If you remember Lee, it's just they're best friends, and they live together. When I moved to Thailand, he came and took my room, and so he's been taking care of her. Every day he makes all her food. That man is a legend. He sacrificed his life to take care of her. He loved her so much. And so she's texting him at 4 a.m. saying like, machine's not working, I can't breathe. He's sleeping. She calls him, he doesn't hear it. She starts banging on the wall because his room's right next to hers. And he heard that. So he got up and he's like, what's happening? Oh my god, this machine, and he can't get it to work. Like, it just stops for no reason. It was saying low battery, but it's plugged in. These things have been known to kind of just stop working for no reason at some point, and I just found that out. If we knew that, we would have had a backup. But so it stops working. She's kind of panicking because she can't breathe. He calls the ambulance, but at some point she just could not breathe and her heart stopped. And he's on the phone with the ambulance, and they're giving him instructions to do CPR, and so he brings her back to life, and she has a second chance. And then it took an hour for the paramedics to show up. So she died again. They brought her back. They took her to the hospital. Lee's been calling me the whole time, but I didn't have, my phone's always in airplane mode. I wake up at 9 a.m., there's all these messages, and then he calls me and he's like, we're at the hospital, your mom's unconscious, her heart stopped, and they have a breathing tube. So like I rush over there on the old scooter, and I see her there, and she's breathing with a tube down her throat. So basically I called my uncle, because like we don't have a very big family. I'm like, yeah, mom's heart stopped, we're at the hospital. So he rushed over, and doctor came in and he was like, your mom suffered brain damage, not having oxygen to the brain. there's no chance of her recovering. I'm like, there's got to be a way. Like, there's got to be, in my opinion, I wouldn't give up. But she said, if I'm ever to be like kept alive on life support, I don't want it. Pull the plug. Like, don't keep me alive. I don't want to live like that. And so we're just talking it over with the family, and it's like, will she ever recover? Like, she was not happy, obviously. She had ALS, it was getting worse, she was getting weaker. She was sick of this. It's like she was still eating processed food. She was taking hydromorphone, all these medications with the breathers, and I'm trying to tell her, like, we need to wean off this. You're not going to get better. But this whole experience just gave me compassion for her breathing, how bad it must have been. And she's like, yeah, that's nice advice, Sonny, but I can't breathe here. I'm taking these meds. Like, you go F yourself with your carnivore diet. So, like, I would always send her research saying, like, oh, COPD, that can be healed by carnivore diet. I've seen it. Like, here's some examples. Or ALS, this is reversed. I just kept sending these things, but I would go there a couple days later. I'm like, did you watch that video? And she's like, oh, no, I haven't watched it yet. Like, she just didn't have that urgency, and that just might not be her path, I guess, to, like, overcome this health issue. Like, at that point, she'd given up all the pleasures in her life. Like, she quit smoking weed, you don't smoke alcohol. She used to drink alcohol, and, like, she's one by one quitting all these things, and then you're left with, what do I do now? How do I avoid these thoughts that I'm having? Like, so, like, she turned to food. Even before this ALS happened, she was very into comfort food. The reason I'm at a ping pong table, we used to come play. So every time we'd come play, she'd be telling me, like, oh, I looked up this new recipe, I made this epic cake, and oh, this is a lemon meringue pie. I'm like, wish I could try it, but you know me. You know that's not gonna happen. But she was very into comfort food, so throughout this whole ALS journey, it's like, that was her last thing, so she just couldn't give up. She always had, like, a little bag of turtles by her bed. Not actual turtles, the chocolates, and just had all this junk. And I would go over there and, oh, we just got Swiss Chalet, and oh, we got McDonald's, and we're eating this. And I'm like, just avoid gluten and dairy, please. Like, that's gonna help so much. Dairy can cause the lung issues in people without any lung disease. So I remember saying that to her, and then I took her to the hospital for a meeting, and there was a food court there. I'm like, so what do you want? She's like, pizza. I'm like, that's entirely gluten and dairy. Oh, you are ignoring me. Oh boy. So I don't know, I couldn't motivate her enough, and I tried my hardest. But so basically at the hospital, once my uncle came, we're discussing it. We're like, this is probably the last time anybody's gonna see her. So he called his wife and daughter over. It's me, my fiance, Lee, my uncle, his wife, his daughter, and then my mom's sister, my aunt. And so we're all there, we're crying, we're laughing, we're cracking jokes. My aunt was saying that my mom's probably, like, sick of this. Like, why are y'all staring at me? Just pull this plug already. What are you waiting for? I would joke that I think I saw her hand move. She's reaching for the plug. So, yeah, the doctor said the best way to do this is I'm going to increase her medicine. I'm going to give her more fentanyl and add Valium so she won't feel any pain. And the Valium is for any anxiety and fear. It will calm that. And then we're going to pull the breathing tube. And then within a few minutes, she's probably just going to stop breathing peacefully. And that was it. And we just all agreed that that's probably the best option. Even if she somehow pulled it through this, would she want to go home to ALS, COPD, and a new brain injury? Like, was she now a vegetable? Like, she couldn't talk, she was basically in a coma, and I don't think she would have wanted to live like that. So we made that decision together. And so they did that, increased the meds, waited like 45 minutes, and then they pulled the tube, and we're all just sort of waiting there for her to die. So the doctor said it would be like a couple minutes probably. Boy, was she fighting. She was hanging on. It was a good half hour where like they took the tube out and then she was having these little breaths. It was like, oh, she's fighting. Then I'm second guessing everything because now she's breathing on her own. And I'm like, shit, man, like what if we just didn't give her all these drugs and just like a normal oxygen mask and get a grape juice IV going into her? Like, what did we do? We just killed her for no reason. Like, look, she's breathing on her own. It was just a lot of second guessing for like half an hour. Eventually her breath slowed. A couple times we thought, oh, is that the last breath? Like, it would go like 30 seconds between a breath. I'm just watching her the whole time, holding her head. My fiance's singing these prayers for her to take her consciousness up through the chakra, crown chakra, right to the Pure Lands. And so she's singing and people are crying, and it was going like 30 seconds. Then it would be like a minute between breaths, and it would be like this deep breath and stop for like a minute and then a deep breath, and then that was it. No more breaths. So she is gone. It was such a weird feeling because it was just me and her. I never met my father. I'm an only child. And yeah, it's a very small family. It just feels like such a weird world to be without her now. I got acne from my tears, by the way. I noticed that a couple days ago. I was crying a lot and I got a little zit here. I'm like, so don't touch the face. Okay, I see it now. So look forward to those skin improvements, huh? That is coming. So now it's just all about the logistics of canceling whatever there's she has, the Netflix and whatever, and now Lee's living in that apartment, paying for like the whole thing now, and there's a lot of moving parts. We're just gonna have her cremated. That's what she wants. I asked her if she wanted her ashes spread somewhere, and she was like, I don't care. So my aunt asked for the ashes so she can have them. So we're doing that. Probably have a little funeral. So that's about it. I'm taking a bit of time off. I want to just jump back in, but it just feels weird making videos. It feels weird doing anything. Like nothing seems exciting now. Like even just watching videos I used to watch, it's like, who cares right now? Like, so thankfully I have a bunch of videos already filmed, and by the time I get over this, I'll probably just be back to regular videos. But if the schedule is a bit interrupted, you know why. And that's it. Thank you all for your support. A lot of you have offered like good advice just for healing ALS, and I bought some of the things based on your advice, and I feel like we slowed it down. We were getting there. If she would have like done fully the protocol, I think she could have healed, but she didn't have the belief. So that is it. She's hopefully on to better things. That nightmare is over and a new one is about to begin in her next life, or whatever happens after. Hopefully she gets a nice little break. So that is it. Thank you all for the support, and we're done. You can thumb up the video, you know. Who's gonna thumb it? There's gonna be a couple people that will just be like, you know what? I didn't like this video. I'm thumbing it down. Oh man. I think I know why. It's because you once resuscitated a raccoon back to life, and he bit you. He was happier in a spirit body, and you pull them back into this hell realm. So maybe don't do it. I just picture her like she died 3 times that night. I imagine she left her body at some point. The first time she died, she's out of her body. She's like, oh, look at this. I can move around, because she could barely walk. And that must have been nice. And then she gets sucked back in. It's like, oh, God. And then again, it's like, okay, we're done. No resuscitation. You remember? No? So I just hope she didn't suffer too badly. She died at like 7:30 p.m. And that first thing happened at 4 a.m. So that was a long day. And I'm so sorry, Mom. So we're done. Thank you so much for watching. Subscribe for more videos, and I'll see you in the next one. One last pong battle. Good luck, Mom. That is sad. Wow.